Audiobook narration by Jude Gerard Prest. You gonna toss that stuff? Elvis said. Could I have one of them pictures of Bull? Maybe that Purple Heart? He was proud of it. The young woman turned and looked at him. I suppose, she said. She went to the trash can and bent over it and showed her black panties to Elvis as she rummaged. He knew the revealing of her panties was neither intentional nor unintentional. She just didn't give a damn. Jude Prest, Empire of the Bees, The Mad Movie World of Charles Band, Revised Expanded Edition, by Dave J., William S. Wilson, and Torsten Dewey, Travels with Charlie, by Stuart Gordon. First time I laid eyes on Charlie Band was during a screening of Reanimator Dailies in November of 1984. My friend Bob Greenberg, the man who had gotten me this, my first directing job, pointed him out to me. That's Charlie. He's distributing the film. The old guy? I asked, pointing to a distinguished man in his 50s. No, that's Albert, his dad, whispered Bob. The one he's talking to. I couldn't believe my eyes. Albert was talking to a baby-faced kid with shoulder-length hair who looked like he was a teenage pop star. Next to Charlie sat a beautiful blonde. Charlie fondled her knee as he conferred with his father. After the screening, Charlie, Albert, and the blonde headed for the elevators. Bob and I followed at a distance, hoping to get a sense of what they thought of the dailies, and if they liked them, introduce ourselves. Killing Time, written by John Penny. She looked back at the door next to her and decided she didn't have a choice. She had to stick to her original plan. He was coming, and when he came through that door, she would bring the sharp propeller down on him with all her might. She waited a moment longer, still nothing. A minute passed, then another. Her arms began to tremble under the weight of the propeller. Where was he? Could he have gone past the boathouse? And maybe he hadn't seen her go in. The questions began to race through her mind. The propeller grew heavier by the second. As she grimaced and lowered the propeller, took a deep breath, she started to raise it again. Crack! The rotten wall behind her burst open. A large knife shot out of the darkness. The blade grazed the base of her neck. Her blood-curdling scream echoed out across the misty, hot swamp. The frogs and crickets, which had created the flickering, unnerving noise of the night, fell silent for a moment, but then they rose again and continued their eternal sound. Indifferent to the fate of the young woman in the boathouse, the sterile electronic voice buzzed in Daniel Nash's ear. You have 2 new messages. Press 1 to listen to your message playback. Daniel's calloused thumb pressed the keypad on the old flip phone. Then he raised it to his ear. The 3-day stubble on his face scratched against the phone as he listened. He concentrated, trying to block out the loud wind that thumped in through the open window of his Super Duty Ford pickup as he cruised down the Louisiana highway. First unheard message. An older man's voice with a Texas drawl crackled over the line. Daniel, this is Art Lawson, your landlord back here in Houston. I got the key you dropped off, thanks. Listen, you got a few days of mail here and you didn't leave a forwarding address. You give me a call and let me know where you want them sent. I can also send along your cleaning deposit. So, give me a call. Elvis inched the walker forward. He was halfway to the open door when he spied the figure in the hallway. As the thing came even with the doorway, the hall lights went dim and sputtered, twisting about the apparition like pet crows with flutters of shadows. The thing walked and stumbled, shuffled and flowed. Its legs moved like Elvis's own, meaning not too good, and yet there was something about its locomotion that was impossible to identify. Stiff, but ghostly smooth. It was dressed in nasty-looking jeans, a black shirt, cowboy hat that came down so low it covered where the thing's eyebrows should be. It wore large cowboy boots with the toes curled up, and there came from the thing a kind of mixed stench, a compost pile of mud, rotten leaves, resin, spoiled fruit, dry dust, and gaseous sewage. Elvis found that he couldn't scoot ahead another inch.